If you own any wooting keyboard or any Razer Huntsman V3, then you can basically enable cheats legally with one click via their new SOCD or snap tap feature. And what this will do is it'll significantly improve your movement accuracy in any FPS game like Valorant or Counter-Strike 2. Trust me, try this after the video, it feels so damn snappy, it's crazy. Now you can do this with a standard keyboard using a null movement script. However, this is actually banned from pro play, whereas these keyboards are allowed. Razer themselves even got confirmation via Valve, who made Counter-Strike. But to understand how these keyboards are basically cheating, in my opinion, I firstly need to explain what counter-strafing is. It's a mechanic based off the zero movement velocity accuracy in FPS games. As most of you will know, if you move and fire at the same time, you will have the worst accuracy ever. Whereas if you stand still and fire, you will get the best accuracy, like 100% accuracy. If you do combine them both though, this is essentially counter-strafing, a technique that's done via quickly tapping the opposite movement key to immediately stop your character and reset your weapon's accuracy before you do shoot. And this is all done in one quick succession. However, it is very difficult to do and it can take years and years of practice. If you try this on a standard gaming keyboard, it's very hard because if two opposing directions are detected, there'll be no movement registered. This causes your character to stop moving and remain stationary for as long as those keys remain actuated. For any one direction to be registered, the other key must be released. Whereas on a Razer or wooting keyboard, if two opposing directions are detected, it will register the last input as a priority. This means your character will no longer stop moving in the heat of the battle when two opposite directional keys are pressed. Instead, you can now change directions instantly without having to release the previous key, pretty much eliminating human error, giving you 100% movement accuracy. As what these two features can do, the human fingers simply can't. For one, they're not physically that fast, and two, they're not consistent enough. To be fair, pros might be able to achieve this. However, a lot of them are actually starting to use the Razer Huntsman V3. One of the best examples I could find is Nico. I'm pretty sure he recently started using this after Razer did implement snap tap. Moving on though, you guys are probably wondering how you yourself can enable it. If you use a wooting keyboard, you need to go over to this website, which I'll have in the description below. Obviously, make sure you do have a wooting keyboard. Then you want to make sure that it is connected via the instructions on screen. From there, you'll see the new update, which you will need to install. After that, you can head to the bottom under advanced keys, and then where it says SOCD, if you press your movement keys, so for myself it's A and D, you'll see there's different configurations, but I myself like to use a top one, which is last input priority, and I also pair that up with alternate fully pressed behavior, as it does feel a lot more natural. Just don't forget at the end to click save to keyboard. If you're on Razer, you will need to download the Razer Synapse software and obviously have a Razer Huntsman V3. That can be the 10KL, the standard, or the mini. I myself, I don't have a Razer keyboard, but I'm pretty sure it's as simple as just clicking activate the snap tap feature. If I'm wrong, someone in the comment section will help you out. I do predict that other keyboard companies like Logitech, SteelSeries, and many more will copy both wooting and Razer's feature and make this available to their keyboards in the form of a software update. So if you don't have either a wooting or Razer keyboard, don't panic. I'm pretty sure this feature will be coming to your keyboard very, very soon, so stay tuned for it. If not, they will simply fall behind the competition and inevitably lose sales. Moving on yet again, if you do want to further nullify any sort of delay, you can also prevent pixel skipping, which is where your aim may suddenly jump to a final point rather than going through all the points it would have had to go through, and you can achieve this via increasing your DPI, and I recommend anything over 800. Do not use 400, as to be honest, this is outdated. I know a lot of people can't go past 800, as for general desktop use it'd be way too fast, and same with marking a map in-game, that would be too fast, and even sorting your inventory, that would speed up too. So for most people, just use 800. However, if you can go higher to, let's say, 1600 for example, that would really benefit you a ton. And to ensure your in-game sense stays the exact same after you do increase your DPI, you should head over to gamesettings.com/edpi and select the game, then enter your original DPI, so mine was 400, then obviously your in-game sense, which mine is 10, you'll notice my eDPI is 40. So if I then go ahead and increase my DPI to 800, then if you go back to game settings and update your DPI, so mine's now 800, you'll notice that it's turned into a high sense and my eDPI is essentially doubled. So I need to go ahead and half my in-game sensitivity to get back to my original sense for this game. And that right there is how you safely change your DPI so there's no change in-game whatsoever, but you get the benefits of a high DPI. Along with increasing the mouse DPI, I also recommend that you increase the report rate or the hertz of your mouse, as this can fix things like micro stuttering and lower your latency a ton. A lot of people's max is 1000, but if your polling rate goes any higher than 1000, make sure to use that. I know some different softwares like Razer can go higher with specific mouse models. Oh, another thing to mention while in your mouse's software, since a lot of people are using wireless mice these days like Logitech Pro X Superlight or something similar, you'll obviously notice that you have a battery percentage, and apparently it's really important that you don't let this go below 30 because it'll enter something called a low power mode, which people have said makes the mouse act super weird and basically not at its greatest performance. So to ensure that your mouse is performing at its best, you need to make sure it has got a charge of over 30%. You also want to ensure that you're using the rear/back USB port on your computer rather than the front one for latency sensitive devices like your gaming mouse, keyboard and controller. Next, we've got keyboard optimizations. Now in your keyboard software you'll see an actuation point, and for this a lot of pros tend to set this to the lowest one possible in order to get the fastest input, as you can expect, the lower this value is, the more sensitive it'll be, and the higher the value is, the less sensitive it'll be. So most pros tend to put this to the lowest one possible to get the fastest actuation point. You also may have a rapid trigger setting, and this basically eliminates the second slowest element in input latency, return key press travel before key activation. This rapid trigger setting dramatically changes the actuation and deactivation point, and your keys will actually activate before you intend to press them and deactivate when you intend to let go. And you've got some settings you can play around with here. You also may have an additional setting that can lower your input delay even more. You can see here this cuts off 1 ms, which is pretty good. Next, we've got this post from wooting titled "What Influences Keyboard Input Speed?" and inside it you can see here that they basically state that RGB effects can put a strain on your CPU, which can in turn cause input lag. So many pros choose to either turn off the RGB effects, or if they are using them, which some of them do, they choose to have a static preset, so there's no RGB wave animations going on. But that's been a quick tutorial on how to enable that secret feature that does improve your movement accuracy, followed up with some extra tips on how to nullify any sort of input delay. If it helped, please drop a like and subscribe for more, and before you go, feel free to check out any of my other videos on screen right now.